commissions. The efforts were made, recommendations should be made to the central government as well as the National Human Rights Commission. They should make efforts to have human rights commissions in remaining states also. And for northeastern states, they can have a common human rights commission for the remaining states where do not have, like Assam and Manipur have. For other states, they can have a common human rights commission to avoid any expenses. Then deemed members should also be in the state human rights commission, because in the states also there are women commission, child commission, and for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. The deemed members should not be politicians, and there should be more participation. They should be invited every meeting of the commission. Co-groups should also be in the state human rights commissions. They should be more active, and due importance should be given to the recommendations made by the core group. The instances have come where the core group recommendations were overruled. Strong and quick action in cases of attack on human rights defenders. That is very important. Otherwise I think the system will fail. The mechanism of NHRC has to be improved. Complaint should be acknowledged and also informed about the result, and should be allowed to participate in the inquiry if there is any. Then the inquiry should not be held by the person against whom the allegations are made. The inquiry should be made by the rapporteurs, special rapporteurs of the National Human Rights Commission. A time limit should be provided for the disposal, and the Commission should follow up whether their recommendation has been observed or not. Their reports should be filed every yearly in the Parliament, and the Parliament and the government, central government should come, lay it before the Parliament so that members of Parliament can look into it and we can do something. With these observations, I think we shall look into it and give a detailed recommendations after the deliberations are complete.
Justice Sukumar.
And this is Sukumar. I come not from the northeast, but the extreme southwest, Kerala. I had one major disability. I could not follow the nuances of the Hindi language of the people who spoke from their heart and with intense feelings. That difficulty notwithstanding, I was trying to understand the language of their heart. I do not know whether I have been fully successful. I only know 2 or 3 Hindi words. I say I come from God's own country. God's own country where large number of elephants are there. Hathi, mere saathi is one sentence which I know. To be more philosophical, sometimes I used to say, mera jivan kola kagas. That sort of trick will not play with an audience of this nature. I have known 3 immoral words very clearly: roti, kapra, makan. In one sense, they comprise human rights. If you cover them, much of human rights would be done, but not all. For man does not live by bread alone. The cultural aspirations, the human feelings and the aesthetics also have to be said. Therefore, when violation of human rights is referred to, is a comprehensive term. It is not for me to say that all these defects could be analyzed and the remedies synthesized in a brief time. I shall attempt to do that. But one thing, one lesson which we have learned is, if the individual constituting an authority is good, competent, and a person with integrity, notwithstanding many of the disabilities of the structure of that authority, something positive can be done. This is demonstrated by persons. I do not want to name individuals. They have been referred to. The point is, we must have persons with competence, brain and brawn, and with what many lack, unfortunately, the stamina, the backbone. When I was made a judicial commission to inquire in the charges against a minister, many of my colleagues, brother judges, said, "Why did you accept him? He is a special type of person." They used a very pejorative word. I don't want to say that. I said, "Have you not taken an oath? We will discharge our duties without fear or favor." Therefore, some of these things must be understood in understanding the failures of the National Human Rights Commission or the State Commission. There are too many to be chronicled just now. I am trying someone else's patience, I know that. But this is one thing which I have to say. Two advantages which I had. One was the insistence on an investigating officer of my choice. The government was initially reluctant. I said, if you don't heed to my request, the commission is not functioning. My request was granted, and that worked wonders. An independent investigating agency to suggest, to advise, to assist the body will be extremely helpful. Two was an independent, competent counsel, legal counsel. I appointed a person who later became a Chief Justice, a Supreme Court judge. That also is important. There are so many other matters relating to the Constitution, the issuing of process, the examination of witnesses, etc., which could be commented upon. I do not propose to do so because you are very, very impatient, almost like me. I shall curtail my comments, suggest that the experiences, many of which are not known to us in Kerala, the encounter killings, the harsh dealing with Dalits and others, we got liberated from all these difficulties earlier. Therefore, I was listening with rapt attention to the stories, ghastly stories about the oppression which had been practiced. We have to study them. We have to intelligently analyze the reasons and evolve remedies such as are within our powers. We shall endeavor to do so before you get angrier. Thank you.
Professor Vimal.
I congratulate HRLN for organizing on the mass scale this 3 days IPT. I sat in many IPTs and public hearings as a member of jury, and I myself organized from my organization, All India Dalit Mahila Adhikar Manch, so many people's hearing, but this is very tiring and very extensive, because it is covered all the aspects of human rights violations, starting from torture and killing by armed forces, attacks on the human rights defenders, communalism, the issue of communalism, the issue of manual scavenging, issue of Dalit atrocities on Dalits, issues of tribals, issues of mining, issues of health rights, issues of child and disability, and the responses of NHRCs. मैं अपनी बात हिंदी में ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह से कह सकती हूँ। मुझे लगता है कि ह्यूमन राइट्स की जो ये वायलेशंस है, इससे सारा हिंदुस्तान और सारे जितने भी सोशल ग्रुप्स हैं बहुत बहुत परेशान। जिस तरह की टेस्टिमनीज हमारे सामने आई है पिछले 3 दिनों में, मुझे नहीं लगता है कि न्याय की जिस तरह से हमारे यहाँ व्यवस्था है, पूरे भारत की पॉलिटिकल और गवर्नमेंट की जितनी भी कमीशंस है, जितने भी लॉ एंड एक्ट्स है, उसके बावजूद अगर ये नहीं कुछ हो पा रहा है, आज भी हर दरवाज़ा खटखटाया जा रहा है जस्टिस के लिए, तो मुझे लगता है बहुत ये इस व्यवस्था में ही कहीं कुछ कमी रह गई। ये जो सामाजिक और सांस्कृतिक व्यवस्था है, जो आर्थिक और राजनीतिक व्यवस्था है, जो शैक्षणिक व्यवस्था है, इसकी ही बुनियाद में बहुत ज़्यादा खामियां रही हैं, जिन खामियों को दूर करने की हम बहुत बहुत कोशिश में है सभी मिलकर। मुझे लगता है कि ये चंद कुछ वाकयात हैं, जो घटनाएं हैं हमारे जो समक्ष आई हैं, इससे ही इस देश के उस अव्यवस्था और उस अमानवीयता और उस असंवेदनशीलता की तरफ हमारा ध्यान जाता है। कल और परसों जितनी भी जो भी हमारे सामने टेस्टिमनीज आई है, वो दिल को हिला देने वाली है, और लगता नहीं है कि हम किसी बहुत ही एक आज़ाद देश के आज़ाद नागरिक है, और हमारे कुछ अधिकार हैं जिसका यहाँ पर सुरक्षा हो रही है। हर कदम कदम पर इसकी अवहेलना हो रही है, हमारे ह्यूमन राइट्स की अवहेलना हो रही है, हमारे व्यक्तित्व की, हमारे राइट्स की, हमारी अस्मिताओं का, हमारे सम्मान का हमेशा यहाँ पर लगातार हनन हो रहा है। तो मुझे लगता है कि एज अ मेंबर ऑफ जूरी मुझे ये कहना चाहिए कि उस व्यवस्था को अगर ठीक करना है, उस व्यवस्था में इस व्यवस्था में जो जितने भी कानून और जितने भी व्यवस्था है, कानून की व्यवस्था, अगर उसको सही करके सबको न्याय की कोशिश में हम अगर एक कदम आगे ले जाते हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि इसके लिए हम सबको और बहुत बहुत कदम चलना पड़ेगा। ये व्यवस्था कुछ ही लोगों के लिए कार्यरत है,